Alright, this is IMAX Nation 1980 here, and I'm going to refilm all my Disney video collection, and I'm going to do it a different way this time. I'm still going to show the videotapes, the covers, the details, the print date, the label, but I'm also going to show some other things, like how to identify a certain tape, or if you know if it's the right one, show some examples of what's on the tape. If you want to see what's on a majority of the tapes in my collection, or most collectible Disney videos, head over to Super Fun for Everyone's channel. Usually he has a lot of previews uploaded from Disney films, and that will give you a good idea. I'm just showing mere examples. I'm going to start by showing the different kinds of Disney videos that are out there. Alright, what you're looking at here is a Neon Mickey tape. These are the earliest of the Walt Disney Home Video releases. They are from 1980 to 1986. The packaging often changed slightly for these Neon Mickey editions, and us collectors, we search for minor little variations of these titles. This is from 1981. This is the initial home video release of Davy Crockett and the River Pirates, which was the 1956 theatrical sequel to Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier, both of which were cobbled together from the Davy Crockett episodes of Walt Disney's Disneyland television series from the mid-1950s. This is what a Neon Mickey tape would usually look like. This is a rare case where it was a former rental that was packaged inside a for sale only clamshell. And usually they'd have, you might not be able to see it, but there it is right there. Usually the Walt Disney Home Video logo is embossed in the plastic. It's quite nice. Here's the tape itself, and you'll notice that it says for rental only, not for sale. Back in those days, Disney used to have this policy, along with several other studios, that the sales-only versions of these films would come in a case with artwork, and the rental versions would come in a case with no artwork. Disney had blue cases, and usually you could tell what they were. And it's very interesting, to say the least. And because of these clamshells have been replaced with reissues and different cover art, these have become very collectible, and they usually go for pretty high prices when, if you're really looking into collecting them. Sometimes you could get them for a bargain. You might get it from someone who doesn't really realize that the tape is really valuable. So that's an example of a Neon Mickey tape. The early Neon Mickey editions usually opened with this red FBI screen and a blue warning screen. The earliest of editions have the FBI warning, but with a blue background. This is from the VHS of The Last Flight of Noah's Ark, and it's not going to have the Buena Vista logo at the beginning. And why do we call these tapes Neon Mickey editions? Well, it's because of the logo. And this one has Walt Disney's signature instead of the corporate font. It says Home Entertainment. The graphics aren't the greatest, but it's what they had for '78. And of course, no Buena Vista logo there. Alright, now you're looking at a later Neon Mickey tape. And this is a bit different because the Sorcerer Mickey doesn't take up half the box like it did on the older covers. This is the second video release of Tron. The first one was in 1983, Disney's 1982 science fiction spectacle. Sequel's coming out Friday. Very excited about that. Tron Legacy. Definitely going to catch it opening night or an opening weekend in IMAX. But back to the original Tron. This is a little bit different. The artwork was a bit different from the 1983 video release, which I do have, but it's on Betamax format. Let me show you the tape. Also, the label's different. Notice how it's blue bars between the Walt Disney Home Video logo, not the orange and red ones on the previous releases. And notice it's not the deal where it's for sale only, not intended for rental anymore. And you got your print date here, usually on a sticker on the bottom. This one's from August 20th, 1985. The tape itself was released in December 1985, either the 1st or the 3rd. It was all part of a Christmas promotion that Disney had that during 1985, and include like repackaging of other films that were currently available and the classics titles. So the openings on these tapes are a little bit different. They have a much darker looking neon Mickey, and this time it says Walt Disney Home Video. On the other ones, there's the lighter colors, and it says Walt Disney Home Entertainment, and it's in the font it is in Walt Disney's own signature, not the corporate Disney font that you see here. The later era neon Mickey tapes usually opened like this, with the red-orange FBI warnings and the aforementioned Walt Disney Home Video logo. This time it's in the corporate font and it says Home Video rather than Walt Disney signature and Home Entertainment. And of course, that's why they call those tapes the Neon Mickey editions, because of the rotating Mickey. Of course, this is from Tron. There's no Buena Vista logo, so it's gonna look like that. Okay, here's a very important kind of tape here. These are the Walt Disney Classics editions. This is Pinocchio. This is the initial release from July 16th of 1985. It was the first time Pinocchio was ever on home video. And it was quite a I don't know how to put it, but it was one of the first major sellout titles on home video. And this was the first time people were able to own the Disney animated classics on video. The classics, of course, from that black diamond logo. It's become a staple in collectors' circles. And with this line, people were now able to rent or buy the classics and watch them over and over, instead of having to wait 7 to 8 years for it to be theatrically re-released again. I remember Disney was against putting these titles on video because it could possibly gamble away future revenue. And forgive me for taking a while to open the case, but it's kind of damaged on the spine, and the cover would rip off if I was careless with it, so I had to open it very carefully. Couldn't hold the camera at the same time. Here you got the tape, and it's got the same big label, except this time it's the Classics Diamond. And this is one of the early Classics releases with the very low budget looking Classics logo from 1984. This was printed June 21st, 1985. And this actually came with a very rare promo tape, which I really need to show in more detail one day. Or maybe during this series of videos I will dedicate a special video to that promo tape. But this is a very valuable tape from what I understand. I mean, it was the first ever video release of this classic, and it was withdrawn in February of 1986, and it was replaced with a reissue that came in a white clamshell where the artwork slipped in. You can't remove the artwork from this. It's embedded in there. And I'll probably show you this. Look at that. You probably won't really be able to see that, but that's the Classics Diamond in there. The early Classics editions had that embossed in there, kind of like the early Walt Disney Home Video clamshells, where the Walt Disney Home Video logo was embedded into the inside of the case. Now this Classics release right here still has, you know, the very old Classics logo on it when you watch the tape, but it's in a white clamshell where the artwork slides in. If you look very closely there, you can slide the artwork right out. This is Dumbo, of course, and Dumbo was one of the first Disney feature films to be released on home video, because Walt Disney himself showed an edited version on television, so Walt Disney Home Video released Dumbo very early on. I have the Neon Mickey edition of Dumbo, which is highly sought after. I remember I had trouble trying to get it. I didn't have much trouble trying to get this. It was only $10. And it's in really good condition. And of course, you can also tell if it has the old Classics logo. The front will usually say Walt Disney's. The ones that have the Sorcerer Mickey's Classic logo, which I will show you next, will say Walt Disney's Classic or a Walt Disney Classic. There, you know, there's a spine, and by this time they started adding the character profile to the spine. The earlier Classics editions did not have that, and Pinocchio, for some odd reason, does not have the diamond on the side of it. Unlike Dumbo and Robin Hood and Sword in the Stone, which did, but it still had the diamond on the back. And you got the back of it here, and of course has the big diamond. This reissue is from around 1987, sorry about that, or 1988, not too sure. Disney would always reissue their titles for promotions for other titles, like when Lady and the Tramp came out in 1987, or when Cinderella came out in 1988, they'd often reissue them, not with a new tape master, but maybe with a new label design. So you can see here, there's no line between the diamond on the label. So you could tell this is from 87 or 88. The print date is June 16th, 1988, so I think it's 88, but I hear many other sources are saying, oh, there's an earlier version from 87 that was for the Lady and the Tramp promotion. And of course it still has the big label. If you notice, the FBI logo is on the left side of the earlier releases. If you go back towards the beginning of my video, you'll see that the FBI logo is on this side, the right. Most of these Classics editions don't have previews on them, just the red-orange FBI warnings and the Classics logo. One exception is Pinocchio. That has the trailer for the Black Cauldron on it, and the 1986 Sword in the Stone VHS that I have has the Journey of Natty Gann preview on it. Here's what the 1984 Walt Disney Classics logo looks like. This is from my Pinocchio VHS. Of course, that was the Black Cauldron trailer before it. Most people nickname this the cheesy Classics logo because of how cheap the CGI effects are in this logo. Notice how off-screen it is. Some copies, the logo just freeze for 10 seconds. I have copies, like my Pinocchio VHS from 1986 has that, along with Alice in Wonderland.